Very interesting feedback from people in the know to the last video. It's clear that many savvy demand creators are using all three approaches: kit call, call kit, and call email. But several people noted that I left out a pair of key points, and I'm embarrassed that I did because they're ones I'm well aware of. When you send your kits first, pre-call, if they're really good, you often hear back from more than a few producers before you even place your follow-up call. Because tracking these people down is frequently challenging, that can be a significant time saver. But the second point is even bigger. When you phone the station, the producer or host is much more likely to take or return your call if he or she was impressed by your kit. Boy, that comes into play a lot, and it matters a lot. Sure, many times they won't have even opened it or given it much of a look, but many times they will have. Okay, finally, off we go with a series of tips around how to execute your radio campaign. These are not listed in order of importance. They are listed in order of when they pop into my rather unusual brain. Number one, though, is a big one. Send your kit out in a brightly colored package. Alex Carroll recommends red. I think we used neon green at one point. Why is this important? Because many times when you get the producer on the phone, your kit is still sitting unopened on a stack of other kits. Sometimes a lot of other kits. Oh, if you haven't had a chance to look at our materials yet, we sent them in a bright yellow package. Ah, yes, I see it now. You want that kit to be easy to find because you want it in the producer's hands when you're on that call. The seemingly little idea really helps. Number two, email blasts to hundreds of producers without follow-up calls seldom work. Heck, as I mentioned in the last video, even customized email pitches without follow-up calls don't usually generate many interviews. Note I use the word seldom. If the author's well known, then I've seen a few blasts have some success. Also, if the email pitch is a very timely angle, I've seen the odd blast work. For example, if you've written a book on Twitter and a takeover of the company is announced, there may be an opportunity. But because you can't normally plan around those events, that type of blast can't be a big part of your radio strategy. Number three, I want to revisit an idea I advanced many videos ago, sending out the card with the intriguing question like, how can a small town barber help the average Canadian to become wealthy? And then underneath, for an answer to that question and to book an interview your listeners will truly love, call ... Man, that was a great idea by Angel. Putting together this part of the course, talking to publicists and producers, it really made me think a lot about the incredible success we have with that approach. Now, I'll concede that producers have admitted they are much more likely to make that response call to a mailing piece like that if it comes from a major publisher. Not great news for those of us who self-publish. But several also said that if a card directed them to a website, they would be intrigued enough to at least visit it regardless of the publisher. I think we should all be testing this idea more. It doesn't cost much to send out 30 cards. By the way, and this fascinates me, I asked producers if they would respond the same way to an email posing the intriguing question, and most didn't feel they would. Come on, how interesting is that? This is an example of Alex's point about something physical being taken more seriously. I love this kind of stuff. Number four, back to your kit package for a second. I really push you to have a nice logo in the top left corner of the mailing address side of the package. Very professional and helps you to get away from the self-publisher look. It could be your company logo, maybe a logo you have in the front of your book. That's what we did. We had two barber poles turned into a $sign. That was my dad's only creative idea ever, and I paid him nothing. I've seen some people use their book's title. Good look in most cases, but without the subtitle, you have to be a little careful. We used to print our logo directly onto the package, but over time we switched to printing it on a large return address sticker. Stickers got so cheap it just made sense. Number five, this is a very sharp idea that sadly I just heard recently. I would have loved to have used it. Print some testimonials about your skills as an interviewee directly on the package. Not 10 or anything, but a couple of great endorsements strategically placed could make that envelope a lot more likely to be opened. I imagine Janet and Greta's kit going out with the partial quote to the left of the mailing address, maybe another one to the right. Oh man, I like it. I should have thought of that idea. Tell people I did. Number six, okay, last one for this video, but many more to come. How do you address the package, the big envelope? Many authors and publishers use printed stickers. Alex Carroll argues that approach makes your kit look like it's part of a mass mailing and therefore less likely to be paid attention to. He recommends using a Sharpie and hand printing the address, including, of course, the attention whomever part. A personal touch. I'm not sold on that advice. Love Alex, but I'm not sold on that advice. With all the testing we did over the years, we learned that too often hand printing, even when very neatly done, sometimes leads the kit receiver to thinking, oh, a self-publisher, and not in a good way. Yet strangely, I don't really get this. We found a hybrid idea that worked quite well. We neatly hand printed out, but on a big blank sticker instead of directly on the package. Why did this work so much better? I really don't know, but it did. To be honest, a lot of times we just printed stickers and it didn't seem to hurt us. Okay, I'm starving and I'm going to get a veggie burger. That's not a tip. Don't use that in your campaign.